The start of any new year is always tricky, isn't it? I don't know if you've found that. When you're in work or if you're still in work, this is the era where the time, should I say, where people start to look and think about savings, what they can do. I remember many years ago, working in a very big hotel in London, and it was the Cumberland, as it was called then, literally at the top of Marble Arch, and it had many rooms, I think about 700. And of course, people said, oh, no, they couldn't shut it down. No, they didn't. But what they did was close 5 floors down, and suddenly so many of us, even though I was just a casual temp as it were, we were all out of work because, of course, as we all know, that's when bosses in the very early start of a year look and think of ways of saving money. Now, in the world of television, things are getting equally very tight. As I mentioned to you before, the boss of ITV, that's right, ITV channel over here, the one that is incredibly woke and literally very misguided, doesn't have many hit programs and has been scandal hit, all thanks to the Philip Schofield debacle and stuff like that. Well, they've now got to find ways of saving money, i.e. the stars of Coronation Street. I'll use that term loosely. Also, another soap opera, Emmerdale. You'll find they kill people off this time of year, basically because their contracts come up for the renewal and they don't want to pay the money. So it's all the more alarming if you are this woman, that's right, the Scottish TV presenter Lorraine Kelly. Let me explain. Morning, good to see you. You're all right. Thank you so much for your time. Lovely to have your company. I'm right though, aren't I, about the start of the year. Did you have that in your job? You saw things like cutbacks, cut downs, stuff like that, and suddenly you're thinking, how dangerous is this job? Will I survive? And I think it's a lot worse now, because here's the thing that I just want to share this moment with you. But I think when you're not in the office and maybe you work from home a lot, it's the thing of out of sight, out of mind. Am I right? You see, at least if you're seen every day, you're there seen by the boss. And maybe they think, well, he does a little bit of work. If you're at home, you're suddenly forgotten and you're very easy to flick off, aren't you? You know what I'm saying? And that could be now the problem, of course, for Lorraine Kelly. You see, for the last year, there's been a chart, sort of fun thing on digital platforms. Where's Lorraine? And as you can see from this particular thing, they've detailed exactly how many shows Lorraine Kelly has hosted on her show, on the channel over the last year. Now, just to let you know, Lorraine Kelly is a very wealthy woman. She may portray this, it's very expensive, that sort of stuff. She's a multi-millionairess who's had a very successful career as a TV presenter, and she claims journalist also. But, she's raked in lots of money from endorsements and all that sort of stuff, and then had that terrible debacle over the tax. Yes, remember that, of course. She's an actress. She's not really Lorraine. She's playing a character. Not playing it well enough though, because she can't be bothered clearly to turn up for the many days that apparently ITV pay her for. But they're all in agreement, and apparently they're very happy with her performance, even though the ratings, shall we say, are less than stellar. Now, here's where it gets tricky, because as ITV start to look around savings, they've also, according to a very well-placed source, and as ever, allegedly, looked at the days that Lorraine's not on and the days that she's on. And there's really no difference in the ratings. Again, allegedly. And here's where it gets fascinating, because they have to make money cuts. Now, what they do when Lorraine's off is they just sort of parachute in existing presenters. But as I said, with Lorraine Kelly earning over $1 million a year to host that show, and that's the fault of the bosses because she's been there so long, and each time that she stays another year, normally there's a contractual agreement. You get the picture. Now, Lorraine herself says she's no plans to retire and enjoys doing the show. Well, when she's there anyway. But the bottom line now is this particular, should we say, format, digital attack, whatever you want to call it, has really opened the eyes to some of the more elevated bosses over at ITV who may be thinking, exactly, how could we save money? And more importantly, does it matter who's presenting the shows? Scary times if you are what they describe as talent over at ITV. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.